Hello students, today we shall have the revision of figures of speech. We shall once revise what are figures of speech. We use figures of speech in figurative language to add color and interest and to awaken the imagination. Figurative language is found everywhere, right from classical works like from Shakespeare to our everyday speech. We find it in music, in commercial ads, everywhere we find them. What is the use? It makes the reader or listener use their imagination and understand much more than the plain words. To understand the meaning of figures of speech, we need to know the difference between literal language as well as figurative language. We'll see first what is literal language. When I say the weather is beautiful today, it means what it exactly says. So this sentence is in literal language. You cannot have any other meaning for that. The weather is beautiful today means the weather is beautiful. Second example. The Great Battle of Plassey was fought in 1757. This also means exactly what it says. So this is literal language. You cannot find any other meaning out of these sentences. It means exactly what it says. Then what is figurative language? Language that goes beyond the normal meaning of words used. It is based on or making use of figures of speech. It is represented by a figure or a symbol. We'll make it clear with an example. When I say, fragrance always stays in the hand that gives the rose. Does it mean that our hand smells good? No. It means that giving to others is gracious and the good feeling of giving stays with us. So, fragrance always stays in the hands that gives the rose. It means that giving to others is good and that good feeling also remains with us. Here, the sentence actually means something else and its meaning also is something else. The meaning is hidden in the sentence. So, such a kind of sentence is called as figurative language. In other words, it has deeper meaning. So, let's make a comparison between literal and figurative language. Figurative language is the opposite of literal language. Literal language means what it is said, whereas figurative meaning has got a deeper meaning in it. Figurative language means something different and usually more than what it tries to say on the surface or how it looks like. For example, he ran fast is the literal meaning. When I say the same sentence in figurative speech, I can say it as he ran like the wind, which is in this case example of simile. There are many figures of speech, but from your SSLC examination point of view, the following ones are there in your textbook. Simile, metaphor, personification, apostrophe, synecdoche, antithesis, oxymoron, alliteration, repetition, hyperbole, assonance, rhetorical question, euphemism, climax and anticlimax. In this video, we will learn about 4 figures of speech. Figures of speech are based on different criteria. Some are based on resemblance, some are based on the concept of contrast and on different parameters. So the first parameter on which we will be learning is comparison or resemblance. So we shall begin with the first figure of speech, that is simile. A simile shows a likeness or comparison between two objects or events. A simile is usually introduced with words like, as so and resemble. A simile compares one thing to another thing. The thing may be of a different kind, but yet there will be a likeness in some aspects. For example, when I say she is as pretty as a fairy, here I am comparing the girl to the fairy with the quality of being pretty. When I say the kid's bag was as heavy as a bag of rocks, Here we are making the comparison based on the concept of weight. The kid's bag's weight is being compared to that of the weight of a bag of rocks. The last one. Her eyes are like the charcoal. Here, the eyes of the woman is being compared in terms of adjective, that is in terms of color of that of the charcoal. In simile, most of the similes will clearly state and emphasize the parameter or the quality on which the comparison is being made. So we shall now see about the second figure of speech based on comparison, that is metaphor. A metaphor is similar to that of a simile. Two objects are compared without words as or like. In simile you have seen two objects or events are compared with words like as or like. However, in a metaphor, two objects are compared without words like as or like. It is an implied simile. We call it as an implied simile because here object 1 is compared to object 2, or the first object is directly compared to the second object. So we call it as an implied comparison or an implied simile. So a metaphor is a word or phrase for one thing that is used in place of another thing in order to show or suggest that they are similar. For example, life is a roller coaster ride. You know, in roller coaster ride, we go up and down. Similarly, our life also has got ups and downs. Here, the quality of ups and downs is compared in the roller coaster to that of our life. It's an implied comparison, means directly we cannot make it out. We have to think and make out what comparison is there between life and a roller coaster. The second one is variety is the spice of life. You know, different kind of spices make the food much tastier. Similarly, in our life, if there are different kinds of activities or different kinds of things, it makes our life very nice or very good. So it is said that variety is the spice of life. The third one, camel is the ship of the desert. A camel can easily stay in a desert for a longer time. It's a mode of transport in the desert, just like a ship is a mode of transport on water. So here camel is compared to the ship. It is an implied comparison. It's a direct comparison of two entirely different things. But we have to find the meaning of the comparison by ourselves. So it is known as an implied simile. Another example is, she was a tower of strength in their trouble. How a tower is known for its strength. Similarly, she was also a strength for their family in times of trouble. We shall now see the difference between metaphor and simile. Both similes and metaphor link one thing to another. A simile usually uses as and like, whereas a metaphor is a condensed simile, a shortcut to meaning which omits as and like. A metaphor creates a relationship directly and leaves more to imagination. For example, with simile, we can say A is like B, whereas with metaphor, we directly say A is B. In other words, in simile, you have words like as and like. In metaphor, we do not have words like as and like. We'll see two examples. In simile, your eyes are like the sun. The same sentence in metaphor, omitting words like, we can say, you are my sunshine. He fought like a lion in the battle. You can change it into metaphor by saying, he was the lion in the battle. So, in simile and metaphor, there is comparison between two things or two objects. However, the only difference is, in simile we use words like as and like, whereas in metaphor we do not use words like as, like, resemble. We shall now see the examples of simile from your textbook. The girl's movement on the road was like the rapid movement of a skilled hand on strings of a guitar. Here the girl's movement is compared to that of a string of a guitar. As a princess sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity, so is the busy girl of heaven when she saw this one. So the writer here compares the girl in the worker's paradise when she saw the artist to that of a prince seeing a lonely beggar and feeling pity. Della's hair fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. Here Della's hair is compared to that of a cascade or a waterfall. Her curls made her look wonderfully like a drawn schoolboy. Here Della's curls or her hair make her look like a school boy. So the hair of Della makes her feel like a schoolboy. His jubilee was celebrated almost like a national festival. This is from Louis Pasteur lesson. The next one is a story as dramatic as the diary itself. The diary here or the story here is compared to that of the life of Annie Frank. It flashed like a thunderbolt. This is from Village Cricket Match. The thunderbolt struck him in the midriff like a red-hot common ball upon a Spanish galleon. The next one is poised like a hawk. All these three are from a Village Cricket Match. Like a pair of high-strapping hackings, the pair countered along. The hawk-like cricket ball. Major Hawker was coming from the boiler's end like a battle eraser. They looked like pictures of Russian Troika. So these also are examples from a village cricket match. They take to it like ducks to water. As a mother with her batlings, as a shepherd with his ewer, as Saint Ursula with her maidens, so will I play the guardian angel with this pie. White as a maid's bosom. These two are examples from the pie and the tart chapter. There came from the entrance of arena a sound loud compelling like thunder. Karna addressed Arjuna in a voice deep as rumbling thunder. Karna stood stately as a mountain peak. So these three are examples of simile from the chapter of Karna. Karna bent down his head like a lotus under the weight of rainwater. You are like the good earth to the seeds, like rain clouds to living beings, like a serpent with its flaming double tongue out. These three are examples from the lesson Karna. Their ears were suddenly defined with a noise like the falling of a house. The cavern broke into claps like thunder. The stake was in length and thickness like a mast. These three examples of simile are from the chapter Ulysses and the Cyclops. Next, moving on to poetry part. A proud neck was humbled to lie like dirty linen. This is from a poem to a pair of Saurus crane. In dots and pits like the Morse code. This also is from to a pair of Saurus crane. Love swells like Solvay, but ebbs like its tide. From the poem Lochinvar. Like one who the summit of Raggy Ridge. My boat went heaving through the water like a swan. This is from the poem The Stolen Boat. Measured motion like a living thing. Huge and mighty forms that do not live like men. These also are examples from The Stolen Boat. Bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand like an old Stone Age savage arm. This is from Mending Wall, where the poet compares his neighbor coming, looks like an old savage man with a stone in his hand. So these are the examples of simile in your textbook. Since we have already discussed all these things in your regular classes, we have just given an example for simile here. We shall now see about the examples of metaphor from your textbook. Moving finger. It is from your first chapter, A Wrong Man in a Worker's Paradise, where fate is considered to moving finger. Sea of billowing sand. It is the Libyan desert that is compared in The Elixir of Life by Sir C.V. Raman. The elixir of life is a metaphor because the elixir of life is water. Her voice at the sparkle of mountain stream. Her voice is being compared to the sparkle of a mountain stream. It is from Her Eyes Are Not Here. A man of iron muscle. The thunderbolt struck him. They both are from a village cricket match. The land of mighty dollar. This is from consumerist culture. Mere talk is the weapon of the weak. This is from the lesson Karna. Flaming double tongue. Making a lion's meal of them. The test of fire makes fine steel. The test of fire makes fine steel is from the poem Abraham Lincoln's letter to his son's teacher. My legs are pillars, the body the shrine, the head a cupola of gold. These three are metaphor from the poem Vachanas by Basavana. Where ruined choirs. That time of year thou mayest in me behold. In me thou seest the twilight of such day. All these three are from the poem That Time of Year. They melted all into one neck of sparkling light. This is from the poem The Stolen Boat. He is all apple and he is all pine and I am apple orchard. This is from the poem The Mending Wall. My common earth. Birds releasing hell was reached. These both are from the poem CLM. And the last metaphor of your textbook, for a laggard in love and a dastard in war, is from the poem Lochinvar. So these are the important metaphors in your textbook. From the poem, for example, the sun stretched his golden arms and greeted everyone with a smile. We know that the sun cannot stretch its arms and greet. When we want to say that it is a sunny day, we say that the sun stretched its arms and greeted everyone with a smile. So this is the quality of greeting and smiling is associated with human beings. So when you give it to a non-living or an inanimate object like sun, it is called as personification. The second example is justice is blind. We all know that a lady with a balance in her hand is a symbol of justice in our country. But sometimes when people fail to get justice, they feel that justice is blind. Justice is an abstract quality. The quality of blindness which is associated with human beings is given to justice. So when we say justice is blind, it is an example for personification. We frequently use personification when we describe certain times. We say it like a promising morning, a treacherous sea, that's a dangerous sea, a thankless task. Thankless task means any work you do and you don't get any appreciation back for it. We call it as a thankless task. So these are common personification that we use in our day-to-day life. We shall not see about the examples of personification from your first language English textbook. Silent torrent. A torrent wouldn't waste its energy singing. Inquisitive wisps peeped often over her forehead to peer at the dark wonder of her eye. These three are examples taken from the chapter A Wrong Man in a Worker's Paradise. Water is bright and gay when the sun shines and dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast. Water plays the leading role in the drama of life. These two are from the chapter Water, the Elixir of Life by Sir C.V. Raman. I heard the panting of the engine. The engine's whistle shrieked. These two are from the chapter The Eyes Are Not Here. Our beloved Mother Earth is from the chapter The Consumerist Culture. Champagne will be heard gurgling in gutters, and the tart to sit affably on a foundation of eel pie. These both are from the chapter The Pie and the Tart. Reluctant Son. This line is from the poem to a pair of Saurus crane. I sunned it with smiles. This is from the poison tree. This line can be both personification as well as alliteration. It's personification because in this line the poet says that he suns his anger, means he dries his anger with his smiles. So it is personification. But it can also be an alliteration because it has repetition of the same consonant sound. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which you have repetition of either the consonant sound or else the vowel sound. Here the word sir is repeated twice in the word sunned as well as smiles. So it can be a alliteration. I sunned it with smiles can so be both personification as well as alliteration. The next one. Upon those boughs which shake against the cold. It is personification. It is from the poem That Time of Year. The next one is Elfin Pinnace. Elfin Pinnace is personification. If they had given she was an Elfin Pinnace, it is metaphor. But only Elfin Pinnace is personification. Of mountain echoes did my boat move on. It is also personification. The horizons bound a huge peak, black and huge, as if with voluntary power instinct, upreared its head. So, Elfin Pinnace, of mountain echoes did my boat move. The horizons bound a huge peak, black and huge, as if with voluntary power instinct, upreared its head. These three are taken from the poem A Stolen Boat. When the night had veiled the pole. This line is from the poem The Poison Tree. The boat strode after me. This personification is taken from the poem The Stolen Boat. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. It is from Mending Wall. Good fences make good neighbors. This personification is also from the Mending Wall. Let all the past be dead. This is personification from the poem Butto. Fame shall sound thy praise from sea to sea. This personification is from the poem Butto. So these are the important 21 personification figures of speech from your textbook. We shall now see the fourth figure of speech, apostrophe. We should not confuse this apostrophe, which is a punctuation mark. This apostrophe is a literary device used as a figure of speech. An apostrophe takes personification one step forward, in the sense that we not only represent an idea or an object as a person, but also speak to it or address it directly, as if it were present there and capable of understanding feelings. In personification, we gave human qualities, human feelings and human emotions to inanimate objects. But here in apostrophe, we take one step ahead. We speak to that inanimate or non-living object as if it is present and it is capable of understanding our feelings. So, we can define apostrophe as the addressing of a usually absent person or usually personified thing rhetorically. The best example of apostrophe is the nursery rhyme that we have learned, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. In this sentence, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. The little child is addressing the star and talking to it. The star is an inanimate object over here. So it is an example of apostrophe. The next example is, O wind, where have you been? In this line, the poet is addressing the wind and asking it where it has been. Wind is an inanimate object. Speaking to the wind and asking it is an example for apostrophe. The next example is, fair daffodils, we weep to see you haste away so soon. Here, the poet is addressing the flower daffodils. The flower is an inanimate object. The poet is telling that he is feeling sad that it is going away. So, these three are examples of apostrophe. There are two examples of apostrophe in your textbook. The first one is, O grave, keep shut, lest I be ashamed. This is from the poem CLM, when the poet addresses the grave of his mother and tells to be shut, lest she comes out and sees him and be ashamed of him. The next one is, Listen, O Lord of the meeting rivers. It is from the poem Vachana by Basavanna.